Hello friends, greeting with New Year's too. I am going to start with the second section of what? The early section, medieval society. Apart from that, the record from the travelers' accounts. So, so this section I am going to continue in a format of you can say part 2 because this is the most critical topic ever we can find it out to. Okay? So now come with that to the second section, second part I am going to discuss about to. Before switching over to the second part, one thing you should have to keep in your mind that is quite easy part of that. What is that? The thing you have to keep in your mind is that the topic is what travelogue or you can say traveler details. And under this traveler details, one concept you have to keep in your mind. Please note down the concept. In this concept of travelogue, you have to very much attentive regarding that. This is what you can say, this is physical record. This is what this travelogue is based on physical report, like visit to the place, visited the place, then the event, it is what? Time period, time frame. Apart from the time frame, that is what are new discoveries, new findings. New findings. This thing you have to keep in your mind. The first thing is what? The first thing was visited places. The second part is that event and time frame of the period. Then the third thing is the new findings. And all these findings relates with what? All the findings relates with what? The social life and society, culture, and culture is also the part of religion. Then what we can say, political condition, then what we can say, economic condition. You have to put more emphasis over what? Society or social life, then the part of culture, then religious condition, then political condition, then economic, and you can say economic condition over there. So this way we have to proceed for all the travelogues we find over here. In this, the beauty of this travelogue is what? This is the real finding, and this is all free from biasness. The condition was happened like this too. This was the free from any kind of biasness, and it was a free observation and critical thinking of the visitor to that place. And the visitors did not feel that any kind of act of cumbersome, any kind of pressure, any kind of disadvantages. They felt relish. They felt very much enjoyed to travel part of that, and it was a challenge, it was a major challenge of this time, and they have given a very brief information, a concrete information regarding geography, regarding culture, regarding trade, regarding the activities, regarding the trading route, whether it is sea route, whether it is you can say trunk route, whatever it should be, they have given this evidence of regarding this part. So this is very important feature regarding the system and the part of what? Travelogue they have given over here. This is one of the important reason behind that too. we could understand about more detail about this system, and you will find that in this condition too. So the heading that is given over here to you, you have to be alert. As I told you that you have to keep your pen and paper alert and writing all the things in a way, new things, how the question is going to be asked, what way the possibility of going to the question asked, you can write it down in a very factual way, or factual detail I will discuss also too, because the factual part is important. Why? Without the facts, nothing can prevail over here. The truth and reality is the basic reason, basic pattern of what? The fact findings part of that. So here what we can say, here look at this section over here. Here what we say, the enjoyment, and what we can say, curiosity. The enjoyment was another part, and the section is what? Another part is what? Curiosity. Why this curiosity has happened? Because the situation compelled them to think over there, as I discussed about in early class, Ibn Battuta. He was a person, he was an inveterate. Note down the meaning of this term. This is the new vocab term. Inveterate means he was in the habit. He was habitual of traveling. That is, the term is known as inveterate. He was habitual traveler. It means he has an innate quality. He has an innate quality to go for discover for new things. And one of the important part of discover new things was what? He was also a mentality, a bent of mind of a person of what? Adventurous idea to unravel new things over there. So this is the condition we find over here. Who has spent several years while traveling through North Africa. His the major travel route was that North Africa, West Asia, and the part of Central Asia. He may be even have visited, you can say, Russia. Note it down. This can be the question for you too. In normal detailed record, we don't find he also visited the region of Europe, Russia, but he also visited Russia and the subcontinent. Apart from that, he also visited China. So that is why the term has been denoted by his name was invertebrate travel of what? Ibn Battuta. We know it very well that he was from a city that was Tangier, Tangir, Tangier, and this place is located at Morocco. It is nearer to the region of what? Mediterranean Sea. Mediterranean Sea. When he returned to the local ruler, he issued instruction that his stories be recorded. So his story was recorded, and this record was full of information, and he given a special emphasis. He has given a special emphasis on what? The social life. He has given emphasis on what? He has given emphasis of social life. He has given emphasis of political life. He has also given emphasis of what? Cultural life. Then society, social life. For this purpose, he must have interacted to the local people where they were living at that place too. This is one of the important facets over there. Another important part regarding this one, he has also given the economic life of the society too. Economic life of the society too. This way we find the detail about whom this Ibn Battuta, a detailed information, and in this way the process was what? The process was curiosity and enjoyment. Why it was happened? Without the curiosity, without the Without the enjoyment, nothing can be done, such kind of thing, because year after year they should have to travel. In this way, we also can say that he traveled a long route of almost, you can say, 7,500 miles. On and around, you can say that several kilometers he has visited to this part of that. He also traveled by the land route, and also by what we can say sea route also. And he was the follower of Islam. Being Moroccan, he was also the follower of Islam. And sometime it became a question regarding that too, why he took keen interest, because he was an innate quality of man. That is why the term is known as inveterate fellow over there. So here the chances of the question asking from this section is what that too. So his route of traveling, Africa, the region was what? North Africa, then the West Africa, then what we can say Central Asia. And apart from Central Asia, he must have visited to the place of Russia and the subcontinent of China too, before returning to his native place. So this significant thing you should have to read about in this regard of CUET question and answer part of that. So the question section you should have to read very well, you should have to understand very well. This is quite important thing regarding this one. The term is known as education and entertainment, and the present term, this term is known as what? Edutainment. This is the vocab of 21st century. This is the jargon word of what? 21st century. The term is known as edutainment. Education and entertainment. Ibn Battuta, Ibn Juzia, the term is known as Ibn Juzia, who was deputed to write what Ibn Battuta dictated, and Ibn Battuta many more times dictated and said in his introduction, he also interpreted about the whole thing, a dictation being made after end of the travelogue, after end of the destination, what have been decided by this time also. So a gracious direction was transmitted by the ruler, that is what Ibn Battuta, and he should dictate what we can account of the city, what he have discovered according to the cities, which he had seen in the travel, and the practical experience, or you can say pragmatic experiences regarding what the events that clung to his memory, and that he should speak of what? Those who had met with the rulers and the countries. And it is what? It is when he traveled to one region to another region, or one country to another country, and one continent to other continent, he also interacted to the court. He also interacted to the emperor of that time. He also interacted with the courtiers over there, and numerous record has been registered on the form of dictatorial material. You can say dictation was made over there. So that is the relevant part of that too. He believed in the philosophy, he believed in the fact condition regarding that. Whatever he wants, whatever he watches, what he observes, he noted down too. So that gives a very pragmatic, that gives a very practical experience. Whatever he learned, whatever he discovered, whatever his curiosity was, that is why he was called invertebrate person. Means he was accustomed with the habit of traveling far and wide sections too. So this way we find that the education entertainment, that he never bothered that he was going to make a mess, and the travel account is going to be a boring part of that. Here a brief information I am giving you regarding that. The footstep of Ibn Battuta. Ibn Battuta, from which region he traveled over there. For this is the very brief information map. This is the region of Europe, and this is the Mediterranean Sea. And this was the place he belongs to. And the place That is Tangier. He belongs from this place. His birthplace was what? Tangier. This was his birthplace, Tangier. And it was the border of Spain and the major region of Atlantic region, and other region from here is that Mediterranean Sea. From here he also visited to the place of what? Mali. Then he visited to the place Sub-Sahara Alexandria, and from this place to the region of Turkey and Europe, and this way his travelogue has been designed and discovered by this way the region of African region, by African region. And from that place he also reached to the region of Calicut, Kerala region also he visited, and after that he also visited from the region of Chittagong, from the Bay of Bengal he also visited to the region of what? China. And apart from China he must have visited to the region of Russia, upper region over there. So this map elongates about the route of Ibn Battuta, the routes of Ibn Battuta from 1325 to 27 and 1330 to 32, and from 1330 to 46 and 1349 to 53. This dashes line indicates route of Battuta, and this dashes line explain about the routes of Ibn Battuta. So the centuries between 1400 to 1800 he visited. What is that? Visited to India, wrote a number of travelogue. Number of travelogue has been written by this time. At the same time, Indian visited Central Asia, Iran, and other Ottoman Empire also. This is the major region of Central Asia was there, then Iran there, then the Ottoman Empire was there. This is what you get, the region of Turkey. This is the place of what? Ottoman Empire. And these writers followed the footsteps of Al-Birunis and Ibn Battuta. So two person was very much maverick, what we can say, traveler of this time. One was Al-Biruni, and the book written by, travelogue written by Al-Biruni is what? It is Tahqiq-e-Hind. 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 In other way, this is called Investigation on India. That book is also known as what? Investigation of India. Investigation about India. About India. So this way we could manage to understand about major achievement of what? All the traveler who visited to India at that time. Another traveler who also given their travelogue in the sense of Portuguese. The Portuguese arrived in India in 1500 AD. A number of them wrote detailed accounts regarding Indian social customs and what religious practice. Note it down. The question may begin, the question may ask from here. What were their major theme? What were their major intention? What were their major theme? What were their objective? What were their mission to visit to other continent of Europe, Asia, China, or you can say the region of India too. What was the purpose? Note it down. The custom what? Social custom, social cultural custom, and what we can say religious practices. Why? Because India is known as, India is identified as the land of religious priests. The India was the land of philosopher thinkers in a different phase of life too. That is why the tradition of India, the tradition of culture must have been remembered by the name of religious person, by the name of what we can say priest kind of things, by the name of what customary life too. So other condition we find over that, what is that? Such as the Jesuit meant he was a Christian. Robert Nobly even translated Indian text in European language, and why it became popular? All those travelers visited to India, they developed, they translated their book, their own languages, European language, Arabic language, Persian language, and you can say Hebrew language, or Moroccan African was also the language of time. But the most prevalent language at that time was what? Arabic language was the condition at that time too. Persian in the latter phase too. So here what we can say, Robert Nobili also translated the thing in what? European language. Among the best Portuguese writer was Dorato Barbosa. Note it down, Dorato Barbosa, who dated account of trade in society. He visited India during the region of very famous south. The region of South Empire was, that was what? That was Vijayanagar Empire. Raja Krishnadev, he visited in the court of Raja Krishnadev Rai, and Raja Krishnadev Rai wrote a book that is called Amukta Malyada. So this was the major achievement of our Portuguese. Dorato Barbosa, he wrote detailed account the trade and society. He also discussed about what? Trade and society in the region of southern India. So again here may be the question to contribution of Barbosa and what he documented, what he wrote over here. You could say that he wrote about trade and society of the southern India. Later, after 1600, the visit of Dutch also taken place in India. Apart from the Dutch, the French, English and the French traveler also coming to India. The Dutch, the English and the French traveler also came to India. One of the most famous, you can say, French dwellers, Jean-Baptiste, what we can say, Travainier. French dwellers, Jean-Baptiste, a very strong story regarding this one is that when French Baptiste came to the court of what? That is the court of Aurangzeb time, Aurangzeb period, and Aurangzeb should display all the jewelries that was stored to the Mughal court over here. The display of jewelry, the mechanism of jewelry, the variety, and the basic, you can say, skill of developing jewelry during the time of Mughal period was very well displayed by this, you can say, Travainier, who traveled India at least 6 times. He visited India 6 times. Why? Due to adventurous act. Why he visited for, you can say, 6 times? Because he felt that there would be certain new thing, to be discovered to this region too. That was the condition over here. So you have to note it down to the purpose to visit of all these, you can say, traveler over here is that they wanted to know the culture, they wanted to know the society, they wanted to understand about what were the cultural, social, you can say, scenario to the India, how the social life, how the society must be prevailing over here. So this was the condition at that time, and all of them were very much adventurous in their own act, and even though they have the character of inveterate also there. That is the big reason behind that. Another condition we find over here, a very important doctor, medical practitioner. It was an Italian doctor. Note it down, the person was known as Manucci. Manucci was what? He was a medical practitioner. The unique contribution of feature of Manucci is that he also settled in India and he imbibed the Indian culture. He developed their idea to stay in India. He completely stayed in India. Why? He was accustomed with the tradition and culture. He also liked too much the climatic condition, cultural part of that. So we could say that in Indian culture, the Bahujan Khatai, Bahujan Sukhaye, most of the time all the visitors who came in India, they settled and they imbibed the Indian culture and tradition. And we find that India was very much resources over here. India has a culture of multiplicity, multiple region, multiple racial society, much diversification we find over here. We find over here. That is one of the important conditions we find over here. He was particularly fascinated with the trading condition in India. What was the basic theme regarding that? He was basically very much fascinated what the Indian tradition in India and compared India to Iran and what Ottoman Empire. He also do the comparative study. What type of facility, what type of tradition, what type of culture must have been prevailing over here. He has given a document regarding this one, and that is why he settled India very much. He liked India very much. He absorbed with the culture, tradition, whatever it is prevailing in India. Some of these travel like Italian doctor, he never returned to Europe and settled down in India. So the question may be asked that to pick out which of the following travelers who came to India, who settled in India and never go back to European countries. This question may be, your focal point should be on this kind of question, this kind of tips regarding while reading to the question in a deliberate way, detailed way, you should understand about it. Okay? Now we should move. Italian doctor, that is called Manucci. This is again very important section of this topic. You should have to know about it. What is that? Comparing East and West, this was the unique contribution of what we can say the visitor who came to India. It was called Bernier. His name was called Bernier. His name was what? Bernier. He was French. Bernier, who visited several parts of India and wrote the accounts of those frequently comparing to what saw he in the situation in Europe. He did a comparative study regarding the European culture and Indian culture. He found the differences regarding Indian culture, European culture. He pointed out that the Western society and the living condition of Western society, the social system, the caste system, Indian society, culture and caste system, what were there. He did a very beautiful comparative study, and time and again, remember that too, during the time of French Revolution. During the time of French Revolution, he dedicated all his writing to the Louis XVI, Louis XIV. It was the time of French Revolution, 17th century. And in virtually, Bernier described what he saw India in a bleak situation in comparison to development in Europe. What is unique thing regarding that? It was a common phenomenon, it was a common notion that the Western civilization considered to be the best. The Indian civilization could be considered to be conservative. The people are very narrow-minded. The people are very much superstition, while the Western people, they have open-minded, they are very much interactive, they believe in pragmatism. So far Indian is concerned, Indian are very much conservative, they are very narrow-minded, and they are all the time also superstitious. Apart from that, they have a stigma of what? They have a traditional people. They don't compromise with their own culture with other. This was the mindset of the European in the Indian counterpart. So this elaboration was given by whom? It was given by Bernier. Bernier has given this idea. So the question may arise over here. What type of situation were there? What did he do? What he is critically different from all the visitors with Ibn Battuta, with Barbosa, with Manucci, with Bernier Trevedian. A comparative study, you should have to know about that too, because all the detail has been mentioned to you in this regard. So he gave a comparative development in Europe. As we will see, this assessment was not always accurate, and what we find, this assessment can't be accurate because his own view, his own thinking we are there. The thinking should be of a multi-faceted way. The thinking should have been in a different way, because one set of mind he has taken place, and what sort of mind must be there, because there was common phenomenon notion is there. The Western people, the Western civilization always felt like that they are superior, and this is one of the reasons behind that. We also find it out, there are civilization clash. The people of Western civilization also, they have developed a preconceived notion that they are superior people, they are advanced people, they are racially very strong too, they are culturally very sophisticated too. So far India is concerned, it looks a narrow minded and narrow leg. And our historian would not have given this ample light to go for this liberal thing part of that too. So their approach and idea could be conservative, could not be fact over there, because he must have analyzed their own angle, their own way, their own thought process. Did you get it? Then, however, when his work were published, Bernier writing became extremely popular, and this is the reason why the writing of Bernier became very popular, because his analysis seems to be more better or more liberal part over there. One more important thing you should have to consider over here. What is that? He traveled with the Mughal army. That's the unique thing regarding that. What? Bernier often traveled with Mughal army. While traveling to Mughal army, he must have a custom to understand about the talkative activities of the Mughal local people, then the native language too, then tradition also must have gained over there, their culture condition, their social condition, and all the things, all the setup, all the, you can say unanimity, or you can say intermingling of culture he must have found over there, because while the traveling condition, they could have assessed a lot of things. This is an excerpt from his description. Under his description, he has given the idea that too, while marching to Kashmir, I am expected to keep 2 good Turkmen horses, and I also take with me a powerful Persian camel and driver, a grooming for my horses, and cook and servant to go before my horses with a flask, water in his hand, and according to custom and country. What he interpret about that? When I traveled with the Turkish army, when I traveled with the army men, we find that all my edible material, all the support system must have been carried by way. They were also very much delicate, they were also very much cultured while cooking, while eating, while you can say hospitality also there. So the hospitality must be one of the important part of the cultural life of what? Cultural life of the army person or army way. So he could have good analysis regarding that. What with the Turkmen, how this Turkish people, or you can say Turkish horsemen, must have treated to him, and he was considered to be the guest. He was also considered to be the best part of hospitality, done by whom? Done by the army personnel too. That is why he wrote about that horse with a flask of water in his hand. And according to the custom of the country, and this was a tradition and custom of the country, that has been very well learned by him too. All the way we could say that in this regard of what? While traveling and assessing to the thing in a different way. A best example we find over here is that too. A best example what we find over that too. He must have enjoyed well. And this travel idea would be adventurous. It will be completely adventurous. Why? Because he accompanied what you can say horseman, the term in Urdu is called kumak. Kumak means support system. He must have learned about that too. And then the kafila. Kafila means a group of soldiers. A group of soldiers. Apart from that, the warring march, and the group of fighter, or you can say a group of army personnel, those who were traveled for the marching part activity too. This shows about that he also learned intensively regarding what way the marching practice are there, what are the technique of wars are there, why the Mughals, why they were so much successful in their own condition too, what were their strength of, you can say, a strength of success in the life, what way their strength and weakness also there. So altogether what he noticed over here that too, the foreign travelers, they also accompanied the Indian army, Indian march over there, and that is the reason why they must have learnt about the talkative language that is called, you can say, camp language, Dakkani, or you can say Urdu. It has started from the coming of the Turkish period. In the Mughal period, they must have understanding about the Persian war of technique, Persian art of war, or how they accompany their soldier, and what were the strength and what were the weakness of what empire over there. So this way we could see that the topic I am discussing to you, I have discussed to you first part regarding the travelogue. In this travelogue, all the foreigners who came to India, who have given what we can say a liberal idea, a liberal attitude, a liberal idea of dissemination, how to understand the Indian society, how to understand the Indian culture, how to stand about the Indian religious life, how the people were very much accommodative to adjusting to the foreigner people also there. So this way you could understand about the travelogue, the travel era, the route, the system and society, the condition which was prevailed over here, it was very much effective too. So I feel so, you must have enjoyed the topic what I discussed to you. So you should have to very much critical, your idea should be very much impulsive, and you should have to know about the reason. Reason means inquisitiveness should be the major part of that. If the question comes to you that why did it so, your answer should be the foreigner, the Westerner were very much inquisitive to understand about the tradition, the culture, and they were very much in a condition of traveling mood. And one of the famous, you can say, Bernier Trevenier, who came and settled in India because he was a doctor and he never back to their home house. So I think that this topic must have clear about you too, and time and again I'll develop certain concept part of that too, that would be useful for you. So give me a relief over here. Thank you very much and have a good day. Thank you.